There is a moment after someone dies when their dog goes to the door. Not once, not out of confusion, again and again, at the same time every day, because the person they loved always came through that door at this hour. And nothing in the dog's world has told them yet that this time is different, that this time is permanent. We have spent years studying how humans grieve the loss of a dog. We have given it names, written books about it, built support groups around it. The pain is finally being taken seriously. But the question almost nobody stops to ask is the one that changes everything. What does the dog go through? Not the dog who misses you while you're at work. The dog who waits for someone who is never coming back. Do they grieve? Do they understand what happened? Does their pain look anything like ours? And perhaps the deepest question of all, what does grief look like when the one grieving cannot tell you they are grieving? Today, we are going to look at what really happens when a dog loses someone they love. 1. They do not understand death, but they understand disappearance. And the difference matters more than you think. Your dog probably does not understand death as a concept. They do not understand a funeral. They do not sit with the idea of finality or mortality in the way we do. But that does not make their experience simple. Dogs understand the world through patterns, presence, scent, routine, the rhythm of a person's body in the house, the chair they sat in, the hour they returned, the way their hand rested on the dog's head without thinking. To a dog, a person is not just a name. A person is a whole collection of signals. When those signals disappear, the dog's world becomes less predictable. That is where the grief begins. Not with an abstract understanding of death, but with a repeated, unanswered question. Where did they go? They may search the hallway, wait near the door, sleep near the person's belongings, lift their head when a similar car passes outside. And here is what makes this particularly difficult. Dogs have no concept of the word never. Their world is binary, presence or absence. You are not gone, you are simply missing. And because their mind has no way to close the door on that possibility, they keep checking. Every day, at the same hour, at the same door. Not out of stubbornness, because their nervous system is still expecting a pattern that used to come true. 2. The routine breaks before the heart does. When someone dies, humans focus on the emotional loss, the relationship, the memories, the future that will never happen. But for your dog, the first loss may be much more physical. Breakfast happens differently. Walks happen at a different time. A particular voice no longer fills the kitchen. A person no longer sits in their usual place. Dogs are not only attached to people, they are attached to the shape of life around those people. Repetition creates safety, and when death disrupts the routine before anyone has had time to rebuild it, the dog experiences a world that has stopped making sense all at once. This is why some grieving dogs become clingier, others become withdrawn. Some seem restless, some sleep more, some stop eating properly. They are not only reacting to the absence of one person, they are reacting to a whole world that no longer moves the way it used to. Restoring predictability is not a small thing. It is often the most meaningful thing. 3. The scent is the memory, and when it fades, something breaks. We carry people in images and voices and stories. A dog carries people in scent. Your scent is not just something they recognize, it is the primary way they hold you in their mind. And here is what most people do not realize. A dog uses scent like a clock. As the hours pass, your scent in the house gradually fades, telling them precisely how long you have been gone and, crucially, when you are likely to return. When someone dies, that clock begins to malfunction. The scent lingers for days, in the fabric of a chair, in the bedroom, in clothing still folded in a drawer. And for a while, that scent tells the dog that the person still exists somewhere, that they are not entirely gone. But scent fades. Slowly, the concentration drops, and as it drops, the dog's nervous system loses the last biological signal it had been holding onto. This is why grieving dogs are found lying on the clothing of the person who died. They're not confused. They are doing the only thing available to them, staying as close as possible to the last remaining trace of someone they loved, for as long as that trace persists. When the scent finally fades, that is often when the most visible grief begins. The door visits, the searching, the long periods of stillness in places the person used to occupy. They are not looking for a ghost. They are looking for a smell that used to mean everything was all right. 4. Grief in dogs looks quiet, and that is exactly why it gets missed. Human grief often announces itself. Tears, words, breakdowns, silence that others can recognize. Canine grief can be much quieter. A dog may simply seem less interested in the world. They may not run to the toy they used to love. They may eat more slowly. They may sleep at odd times. They may follow one person around the house more than usual. And because none of this looks dramatic, people may assume the dog is fine. In 2022, a study published in Scientific Reports examined dogs who had lost a close companion. Researchers found that many showed significant behavioural changes, seeking more attention, playing less, eating less, becoming less active, and sleeping more. These were not dogs performing grief for an audience. These were nervous systems registering that something essential had gone. Quiet does not always mean fine. A grieving dog is not always the one howling at the door. Sometimes it is the dog who simply stops asking for the ball. The dog who lies in the hallway instead of joining the family. The dog who eats half the bowl and walks away. Look for change. A dog's grief is often written in differences: what they stopped doing, where they started sleeping, what no longer interests them. The absence is not always in their face. Sometimes it is in the shape of their day. 5. They also carry the grief of the people left behind. When someone dies, your dog does not only lose that person, they live inside the grief of everyone who remains. The house changes emotionally. People speak differently. Their breathing changes. Their posture changes. They may move slower, cry suddenly, forget routines, sleep badly. Dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to human emotional shifts. So while they are trying to process the missing person, they are also reading the distress of the people who are still there. This is one reason why a dog's grief can seem to appear later, after the visitors leave, after the house becomes quiet again. During the first few days, there may be noise and movement and disruption. Then the house becomes still, and the missing person is still missing. Some dogs then attach more strongly to the remaining caregiver. They may follow them room to room. They may become anxious when that person leaves, because from the dog's perspective, someone has already disappeared. The possibility of another disappearance now feels more real. Your own steadiness matters, not performed happiness. Dogs do not need you to pretend, but they do need some predictable emotional ground, a gentle routine, a calm voice, a familiar walk, a clear bedtime. Even when you are grieving too, small consistency helps. Because your dog is not only grieving the person who died, they are looking to the people left behind to learn whether the world is still safe. 6. The kindest thing is not to make them forget. There is a quiet pressure after loss to move on quickly. Tidy the room, wash the blanket, change the routine, fill the silence, make everything normal again. But the goal is not to make your dog forget the person who died. The goal is to help them feel safe in a world where that person is no longer physically present. That is different. If the person who died had clothing or a blanket that carries their scent, allow the dog access to it for a while, not forever. But do not remove every trace at once. The scent provides information. Let it fade gradually rather than disappearing overnight. Keep the most important parts of the day as predictable as possible. Food at the same time, walks at the same time, the same calm phrases, the same gentle expectations. Grief is messy and does not need to be perfect, but try not to let everything change at once. Allow slow, low-pressure walks where the dog can sniff and pause and gather information. Their world has changed. Their nose may be one of the ways they begin to rebuild it. And do not rush new attachments. A new dog introduced too early rarely helps. The grieving dog is not ready. What they need most is for the world to feel navigable again. The people who remain become the new anchor. Their calm and their consistency are the most meaningful thing they can offer. Watch the body. A dog who skips one meal is unsettled. A dog who refuses food for more than 2 days, or becomes severely withdrawn, or shows physical symptoms that persist, that dog may need a vet. Grief is real, but physical illness can hide behind grief. Never assume every symptom is emotional. 7. What a dog's grief tells us about the nature of their love. A dog does not form attachments because it is useful to them in some abstract sense. They bond because something in the daily presence of that person became necessary, biologically, neurologically, in ways that show up in their behavior and their searching and their willingness to lie on worn clothing for hours at a time. When that person disappears, the dog's body responds as it would to any loss of something essential. Not because they understood what that person meant in the way we assign meaning, but because they understood presence. They understood belonging. They understood the specific feeling of a world that contained this person versus a world that did not. And they knew, in the only language available to them, that one of those worlds was better than the other. That is not an animal running on pure instinct. It is a creature that loved someone, that felt their absence, that searched for them in doorways and on blankets and in the specific silence of a house that used to sound different. And that, in the end, is what grief is. In any species, in any language, the evidence that something mattered. Every video on this channel begins the same way, with a question most dog owners have never stopped to ask. And then we go looking for the real answer. Not the simplified version, not the comfortable assumption, the actual science, the studies, the behavioural research that takes years to surface and rarely reaches people in a way that feels like a real conversation. That is what we do here, every single time. If this video gave you something, a new way of seeing what your dog carries, or a moment that made you stop and think, then do one thing before you leave. Hit like. Drop a comment telling us about your dog or about someone you have both lost. We read every single one. And subscribe so you do not miss what we are putting out next. Because the more you understand your dog, the better life gets for both of you. And that is always worth showing up for.